All right, guys, I had to show you this article. This is really something. So they're talking about a real thing here, but they're framing it in the worst possible way. It is in the street. They say, forget quiet quitting. Employers have a bigger problem with workers. Past quiet quitters have become much more vocal, and it's costing employers around the globe $9 trillion. So look at the framing here. Now we're going to get into, the people who just flat out quit and left, and then there's people who are staying at their job but hate their job. That's really what they're referring to here. But look at the framing. The framing is, you're costing employers around the globe $9 trillion. How dare you? That's an astonishing framing when it seems more like a crisis of the very nature of the system. It's not like, hey, let me whip you into shape and you better start enjoying your work and work harder. No, it's like, we've built a system that is fundamentally broken, and that's not the angle they take. In the modern workplace, you can quiet quit or stay and become a resentee. After a bad day at the office, some workers reported rage applying on LinkedIn and coming up with a 5-figure salary raise. Employers have also hit back with quiet hiring, spreading out the work week between existing employees or freelancers instead of hiring a new full-time employee to save money. Now, I actually like the idea of, spreading out people, making it part-time, but I would like it if they still had good wages, and they don't do that. The whole reason they're doing this is to save money and pay them less. So that I don't like, but I do like the idea of people working 3 days or whatever and making good money, which unfortunately is not a thing. If you're working less, you're making a lot less, and they're just trying to squeeze every penny out of you. While 24-year-old engineer Zaid Khan's call about quitting the idea of going above and beyond at work went viral in 2022, this year is pushing some workers to be louder about their dissatisfaction. In the 2023 State of the Global Workplace report of 122,000 people in 160 countries, polling company Gallup found that 18% of global workers are loud quitting or actively disengaged at work. These employees take actions that directly harm the organization, undercutting its goals and opposing its leaders, write the survey's authors. At some point along the way, the trust between employee and employer was severely broken. The key difference between quiet and loud quitters is that the former are filling a seat and watching the clock, while the latter are actively resentful and not bothering to hide it. This sometimes takes the form of complaining about the workplace to other employees, known as something literally everybody does all the time, opposing instructions, or, in the most extreme cases, actively sabotaging an employer's goal. Gallup's numbers show that this behavior costs businesses over $8.8 trillion and 9% of global GDP, but is often difficult to weed out in the early stages. I love the framing of this. It's astonishing. Do they not understand that literally everybody complains about their job and everybody complains about their bosses, and almost everybody in the corporate world is not working their hardest and doing their best because the work is soul-crushing and stupid? While 23% of the workers in the survey were found to be actively thriving at work, the majority, 59%, are quiet quitters who can slide into loud quitting if employers do not help direct them into roles and a career trajectory that keeps them engaged. Okay, so 18% are loud quitting, 59% are quiet quitting, right? Those are the numbers. So we're looking at about 80% of people despise their job and are rebelling in one way or another. And only 23% say they're actively thriving at work. And by the way, what percentage of the 23% are just lying? What percentage of the 23% are like, yeah, I totally love my job, bro, and then they go home and they're like, I hate it, poop face, poop. Now, this reminded me of another article. We covered this back in the day. This was in 2020 or 2021. The Gallup survey of roughly 67,000, 2022, there you go. The Gallup survey of roughly 67,000 people in 2022 found only 32% of workers are engaged with their work compared to 36% in 2020. So again, and what percentage of the 32% are lying, right? We have a low number of, 23? Yeah, 23, between 23% and 32% of people like their job. Everybody else either hates it and is loud about it, or hates it and is quiet about it, or silently talks shit. That's what I'm getting from this. Now again, the framing of this article in the street was like, bro, you're costing your boss $9 trillion, bro. The real framing here should be, look, here's what to do to weed out and help loud quitters. Oh, please. Guys, the real crisis here is a crisis of capitalism, right? I hate to go all firebrand lefty on everybody here, but if we have a system that fosters miserable people who hate what they spend most of their waking hours doing, that is unsustainable. That is unacceptable. So what are potential solutions? Well, look, there are some long-term ones that are a little more complex, and there are short-term ones that are easier, right? A short-term one that's easier is businesses need to switch to a 4-day work week, because there's been a number of pilot studies all around the world on a 4-day work week, and they all find the same thing. Either productivity remains the same and happiness goes up, or productivity goes up and happiness goes up. It's a win all around. It's a win all around. So one thing you could do is go to a 4-day work week. Another thing you could do is raise pay. You'll get people more engaged that way. Another thing you could do, and again, this is more long-term, is move towards democratizing the workplace more so people feel like they have more of a direct say in the direction of their company. So then it becomes more of not just I'm pressing buttons and shoving numbers around on a computer screen. It becomes more of a creative endeavor for people, which gets people more engaged. Because then they get to strategize and, bring their own ideas to the table and bounce them around. And it's a more democratic situation, which makes people feel more useful, right? So there's a bunch of things you could do. 4-day work week, higher pay, move more towards a democratic approach. Ideally, I would like everybody to have a job that they love. Ideally, that's what I want. I want as many people as possible to have a job that they love. But let's keep it real. Not everybody's going to get to that position. And in order for society to function, some people are going to end up doing jobs that somebody's got to do, but nobody's really excited about doing, right? That's just the nature of reality. For those people, they deserve paid vacation time. They deserve paid maternity leave and paid paternity leave. They deserve paid sick time. They deserve a 4-day work week. They deserve higher wages, right? Like, this stuff is obvious. But instead, again, I want to repeat it, the framing from the street is, you're costing your employers $9 trillion. Yes. They framed it from the perspective of the employer as opposed to, hey, dog, 80% of people hate working at their job. That seems like a problem. Maybe we should address that. It's all in the framing. And the framing is, I'm with the owner. I'm with the boss. I'm with the capitalist. Everybody else is just like, how do we get the peasants to fall in line? Yes. Really gross, man. Really gross. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.